Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with the latest on Hurricane Dean. And taking a look out there in the Atlantic, you can see on the edge of your screen is Dean. And starting to come inland now. It's made landfall about 40 miles south of Veracruz, Mexico. And it continues inland. You can see we also have an Invest 92L up here, not doing much at all. Looking pretty weak, shouldn't do anything really. And then a few thunderstorms here left behind from our departing hurricane. But let's get down to the meat of the issue, which has been and still is Hurricane Dean. As of 2 p.m. Eastern Time, it was at 20.5, 97.3. Notice 20 degrees north. This thing has barely been able to get to 20 degrees north ever since it left Africa. So this one has been one of the furthest south we have seen. Winds 85 miles an hour, had been up at 100 as it made landfall, so it made landfall again as a Cat 2, first as a 5, then as a 2. Still moving west quickly, so we shouldn't see any significant flooding, thankfully. 982 millibars, and again, you can see the winds through time here. Hurricane force winds only extend out a little bit, but then it became a larger hurricane, has remained large as it came through the Caribbean Sea here. Certainly one of the worst hurricanes in Caribbean history as it went just south of Jamaica. Again, it's very hard to get them right over the island. The island is like a little White Castle hamburger. It's hard to get. If the island were vertical like this, then they get hit all the time. Instead, it's flat, and so it's hard for hurricanes to cross it, but they still got buffeted. But of course, the Yucatan was where the real story was as a Cat 5, and now into mainland Mexico. You can see the track here, classic Cape Verde hurricane. Look at this. Barely. This is in fact the first time it ever got north of 20. Unbelievable for a hurricane that started out near Africa to not get north of 20. Remember how we used to talk about how this might turn out or head back to the Bahamas? Boy, hurricanes will fool you. Certainly a very devastating hurricane and a sign of just how strong this ridge of high pressure was throughout Dean's life. You can see the hurricane now starting to weaken over Mexico. Still pretty impressive convection right around there. And there's the visible, looking pretty decent. And you can see the western Atlantic, other than our hurricane, which is really taking up a large portion of Mexico here, is relatively quiet. The Caribbean reeling from Dean, nothing on the horizon. And looking out there in the central and eastern Atlantic, we do have some waves on the intertropical convergence zone. Pretty good one left last night, but we'll watch them. It is that time of year, but we're still almost a month until the peak of the hurricane season. So we'll still have a lot of activity, but as of now, it looks like we might have a week of quiet in the Atlantic basin. However, Hurricane Dean certainly showed us that one storm could definitely take the cake. I'm Mike Naso from IPR. I'll see you next time.